But I thought presidents did not set the price of gas. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki pointing the finger at Vladimir Putin for the very high gas prices. Now, before we get into the video, which I do have, let's back up a little bit. We all know about the high gas. It's getting ridiculous, okay? Like California, I don't know how you living at all. You're talking about $6, $7, $8, $9, maybe $10 per gallon. How are you able to get from point A to point B? It's getting so bad now that people are drilling holes in the bottom of gas tanks to siphon out a little bit of gas. The person might have been on E. They might have had their gas light on and everything. You got a few drops of gas and you destroyed the whole gas tank in the process. It's really crazy. It's really ridiculous. And there's a few reasons why it's happening. But to say Vladimir Putin is the cause and ignore all the other factors is gaslighting, pardon the pun, at best. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see Jen Psaki say what she says about the whole situation. After we get done watching that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what she said there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents and my deep, detailed analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
You may have noticed this week that your gas prices have gone up. I want to talk to you a little bit about why. A lot of it has to do with Vladimir Putin. The reality is that Russia is one of the 3 largest oil producers in the world. And the fact that they have started this conflict, invaded a foreign country, and they are such a big producer of oil in the world is the reason why the global oil markets are disturbed right now and why your gas prices are going up. The president's going to do everything he can to bring down the price of gas for the American people. But there are a few facts you should be aware of. U.S. production of oil and gas is rising. In fact, in the first year of the Biden presidency, there was more oil and gas produced in the United States than the first year of the Trump presidency. And there's opportunities to produce more from here. But part of this is on the oil companies. Right now, there are 9,000 approved unused permits that oil and gas companies could tap into now to ramp up production. So what the president is doing is ensuring we're taking steps here to get more oil out into the global marketplace. That includes the release of 40 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve back in the fall, and he just announced the planned release of an additional 30 million barrels. The only way to protect the United States over the long term is to become energy independent. That's why the president has been so focused on investing in clean energy technologies, so that we can rely on that and not President Putin to set the price of gas.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, there's a lot there. There's a whole lot there. Back to what I was saying from the very beginning. I was told that presidents do not set the price of gas. Because I'll go a lot of these online little areas, little argument spaces, and then I see there's memes and whatnot talking about how high the gas is and saying, hey, come on, Joe. We gotta tighten it up, Joe. You know, I ain't vote for this. I voted for the whole thing of student loan forgiveness. I'm not saying I did. I'm talking about what they say, if you follow me. They say I voted for student loan forgiveness and I voted for reparations. They ain't gonna get that. But I voted for things that are gonna benefit me. I did not vote for $18 a gallon gas at the pump. That's not what I signed up for. And then in the comments, you'll see an oft repeated thing. Oh, presidents don't impact the price of gas. That's a global thing. Nothing that the president does or doesn't do is going to impact the price of gas. That's what they say. This is a mainstream media talking point, a political party on the left. That's their talking point. A lot of normies repeat it over and over. But here you have Jen Psaki saying that Vladimir Putin is the reason why gas is going up. So the president of the U.S. isn't responsible, but the president of Russia is. Make that make sense. Either the presidents impact the price of gas or they don't. It can't be, oh, well, our president doesn't impact the price of gas. Nothing he does or doesn't do is going to impact it. But the president over here, what he does is going to impact the price of gas. And let's dive into what she was saying. Now, of course, the conflict over there is going to have an impact. All right. But that's not the only reason why the prices of gas are going up. The conflict is having a problem. Like the conflict is making it weird because you got kind of an embargo on Russian oil and gas. Jen Psaki herself said in a press briefing that the U.S. imports 10% of the oil and or gas from Russia, 10%. Now, that's quite a bit of money. Imagine you're at your job and you get a 10% raise. That could change your life. It could change your life. You might need a little bit of extra money to go to a whole different level in your life. Okay, 10% is not chump change, really. To somebody that is like, if you're making $1,000 and you get in 1,100, I mean, but if you're talking about 10% of billions, I mean, come on, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of resources. So when we cut that off by refusing to import Russian oil and gas, and when the gas companies are trying to respond to it because they feel an embargo is going to happen and they don't want to buy Russian oil and gas, that's going to impact the global market. Why wouldn't it? Because if you just cut off 10% of your supply, you're going to have price rise as a result. Like I was saying in previous videos, basic supply and demand. You got a high demand for a thing and a lower supply is going to cause the price to rise proportionately to the decrease in supply. Okay, it's very simple. It's not really that hard to understand. So that right there is a choice that the president of the U.S. made. We could keep on getting the Russian oil and gas, the same as Europe, because they can afford to lose Russian oil and gas. I think, like 35% of Russia's natural gas comes from Russia. How are they going to be able to afford to just lose that? They can't. So Germany, France, UK, they still getting that Russian oil and gas 100% because they can't afford to lose it. We can't really afford it either, but he did it anyway. That's causing the price of oil and gas to go up. When you go to the pump and you're paying $1 million, you got to thank Joe Biden for that because his decisions have gotten us here today. And then if we don't want to have Russian oil and gas, because like your man said, who was that? Stephen Colbert talking about, yeah, I don't mind paying more at the pump because it's going to just suck up to Vladimir Putin. Ridiculous propaganda. He can say that and that's fine, but the average person can't really say that. But Biden could remedy that loss by doing things like allowing Keystone XL to happen, okay? But he doesn't want to do that. I was reading that Keystone XL will get us like 700,000 to 800,000 barrels a day in oil and gas, but we get 580 to 600,000 from Russia. So if we lose the Russian supply and we open up Keystone XL, we get a net gain of like 200,000 barrels a day. But we're just not going to open up Keystone XL and we're going to shut off Russia, which is going to lower the supply. It's going to increase the price. It's not rocket science to understand. And then the retort from Jen Psaki would be, well, there's a bunch of leases that have been granted, exploratory drilling or whatever for these energy companies, but they don't want to use them. They're sitting on these grants they've been rewarded and they don't want to use it. But she's not telling the full story, telling half the story or a piece of the story to try and prove a point. But since we don't have the full story and the full context, the point is lost. Now, to go back to the whole thing about these oil companies sitting on these grants and not utilizing them. They're not going out there drilling. They're not going out there and getting the natural resources. Well, there's a bunch of blocks in the way, a lot of red tape from EPA and other agencies in the government. Oh, you can't build a road here. It's a protected wetland and all this, that, and the third. It's all kind of little barriers in the government that prevent them from being able to utilize these grants they've been given. So yes, there are grants out there, but at the same time, if the government is saying you can't use it because X, Y, Z, this, that, and the third, then it becomes useless. You got to have things like Keystone XL. And also, why would there be so many grants to drill and to get new oil supplies? We can't even have Keystone XL. It doesn't make any sense. And also, as I close, Joe Biden said on the campaign trail in 2020, there'd be no new drilling, no more fracking, all types of stuff. He said we're not going to get more fossil fuel. We're going to phase out fossil fuel in favor of green energy. See, that was her solution, right? Oh, we got to just figure out new ways of having clean energy. She's proposing hypothetical things, future technologies that don't really exist right now. She's proposing that as a solution to current day problems. It's just silly to hear, because how are we going to have a solution to modern day problems right now with future things that are not available? It's just not here now. You're talking about what? Solar, wind, electric. How was electric powered? When you plug up your Tesla at night, how was that powered? Okay, nuclear, hydroelectric, or coal, but just fossil fuel. Most electricity in America is powered by fossil fuel. I saw a picture of a Tesla on the side of the road being charged up by a gas generator. That kind of thing is what is really happening. It may run clean as far as the emission, but how about how it's powered? You still got to have oil and gas, and how are you going to be able to get the planes in the sky and the boats in the water? I mean, imagine. Do you know how much jet fuel one flight burns up? And a lot of these climate gurus, your Al Gore, Greta Thunberg, etc., they riding on private jets, burning up all kind of jet fuel. It's crazy. The fuel that gets used by the world needs to be supplied. And when you cut down on supply, the price is going to rise. This does not help us. It does not push forward electric vehicles any faster. It doesn't help the technology develop any faster. It's just not how it works. You can't force these things. You got to let the market just work without all this intervention and stuff like that. It's just not going to happen. Let technology develop. Let it come about naturally. Stop trying to force it and stop trying to make us be punished because we want to just drive a regular car like everybody else in the world, or at least everybody else in the country. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what Jen Psaki was saying in that propaganda video? Basically, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. It was totally foolish. Just a way to try to push electric vehicles and green energy and to just shift the blame from our president and things that he did. Again, cutting off Russian oil and gas, which is 10% of our supply here, refusing to open up Keystone XL, refusing to allow these oil companies to get to their granted locations without all kind of red tape. The things that Biden is doing is creating a higher price at the pump. That's just a fact. You can't say the president does not set the price of oil and gas in one breath, then say Vladimir Putin does. And I got to just add one last point here. All this Putin talk over the past few years has set us up for right now today, because what she said is just is feeding off of all that propaganda. All right. You created a boogeyman. So when something's going wrong, oh, blame him. They'll accept that because over the past few years, we've said that he's the problem. So why wouldn't they accept what we're saying right now? You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on here. And it's really ridiculous. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.